And here we go, folks, fourth bout of the evening. Matthew Filart making his way into the ring out of Action Reaction MMA. This is a featherweight bout set at 145 pounds. And he's rocking a 1-1 mixed martial arts record here tonight.
Yeah, and he might, listen, his teammate Nick Jones obviously didn't have the fight that he was hoping for. I don't think anybody expected it to go that way. It's an unfortunate series of events. But I think Matthew is going to try to make Action Reaction MMA proud tonight. Not that Nick hasn't, but...
And his opponent, Nick Jessome, making his way into the ring as well, will be in the red corner, fighting out of Edmonton Combat.
I don't know if you know this about Edmonton Combat, but their motto is, and I quote, comfortable with violence.
Comfortable with violence. I like that. I like that a lot.
And what's great about them is that they're, multidisciplinary. They offer everything from boxing, kickboxing, to mixed martial arts. And now here's a really cool thing. They're located in New Brunswick.
I know.
So it is, listen, I'm giving them a standing ovation just for the fact that they actually made it all the way here to beautiful Quebec, Canada. Shout out to them. They're there. They're regulars at MFL, and what dedication it takes to do that.
Yes, they had several fighters in one of our previous MFL cards, and Matthew Filart is the second fighter out of 8 representing Action Reaction MMA here tonight at MFL 33. So 3 rounds, 3 minutes of action coming your way.
Yep, Franco, cool, calm, collected. He's going to give final instructions.
Matthew Filart.
And here we go.
Matthew Filart in the blue corner with the blue shorts, and Nick Jessome in the red corner with the black and blue striped shorts. Oh, spinning attack early coming from Matthew. Both fighters looking to keep it standing right now when looking at their striking.
Yeah, they're exchanging in a good left there.
Oh, big knee. Big, beautiful knee hit the face. Very aggressive start for both fighters.
You're not entirely sure what Nick was complaining about. I think he was hoping to get a point deducted.
Well, right now it doesn't matter because he's got his opponent on the ground. He's about, a 1.5 feet from us.
And that's always a challenge, especially at the amateur level, to make sure you don't get distracted by the noise. You don't get distracted by, let's say, the commentators or whatever it is. Anything that happens, you have to stay focused. And that's exactly what he did, because now he's got the upper hand.
So Matthew's going to be here in the side control, which is a great position. That's a good position to continue to fight with.
And there they go.
Oh, he's got to be careful for the neck. He's got the neck. Looking for the guillotine. You're going to see, he's going to try it. He's really squeezing with all his might. You can see his biceps, but he's going to have to let it go if he doesn't feel like it's tight enough. Otherwise, he's going to burn out his arms.
So far, so good for Matthew. He's really hanging in there.
He's staying calm, but right now with the legs being tied up, it makes it more difficult to get out of position. But I don't believe he's any longer in danger. As the fight goes on, it's going to burn out his arms more than anything, is what I believe.
Because it looks like it's a tight squeeze, but he's looking like he's okay. Yeah, his head's moving. There you go. And now the arm's loose.
Matthew staying as relaxed as possible, and he's out. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And now he's on top as well. So let's see what he does from this position. All right, he's almost into full mount. I mean, there he is. A high full mount for Matthew Filart. All right, look at that. This is what I talk about, how sometimes you want to make it also uncomfortable. So even if you're not raining down shots, chest heavy into the face, just making it totally uncomfortable. And he's looking to close the round with hard ground and pound.
Well, I didn't think we would see it, but guess what? it's the first fight that goes into the second round so far, and I'm sure both of these gentlemen are happy that it's going into the second round because the momentum shifted.
Yes.
Right. At first, you really saw that it was more Matthew who had control, but then Nick and then Matthew again. So, very very interesting turn of events here in this first round.
And it was a good reaction also for Matthew when he was stuck in the guillotine position, was able to remain calm, ultimately found himself on top position, and was able to close the first round with some hard shots to the face. So Go ahead.
No, please.
So I'm very curious to see in the second round, is he going to want to go to the ground or keep it standing?
Either way, both of these gentlemen seem comfortable in both positions, right? And that's one thing that we really appreciate. And somebody that we do appreciate, and we haven't mentioned his name, but I think it's apropos given that we're going into the second round. Timekeeper Tony, the man, the myth, the legend, the one manning the clock, the one manning the bell. Shout out to him. We love you, man. Round 2 begins.
Oh, hard head kick. I mean, he's using all facets of MMA right now. And here we are again. Matthew keeping tons of pressure on Nick. Wants to take him down, finds himself on top. Looks like we're restarting part of round 1 right now.
Yeah, towards the end, that's exactly the position that he found himself in, right?
Well, right now is in the half guard position. In Nick's half guard position. Now Matthew slowing everything down right now, just trying to regain your thought, your composure, understanding what position you're in.
Franco's giving them one last warning about grabbing onto the ropes. Not acceptable.
Going to see if Matthew wants to improve position, try and get the side control.
And they're right back into the same position in the middle of the ring, and the action resumes.
Nick doing something really good, though. He's tying up his opponent's arms. It's going to be difficult for Matthew to be able to rain down those shots. If you look at Nick's right arm really locking in his his opponent's left arm. Now what I'd like to see, though, is Matthew maybe stick his butt in the air and try and scoot out of that position into side control. But he seemed content, though, for just a moment.
Meanwhile, Matthew's looking like he wants to mount again.
He's going to have to get those legs out of the way, though, because Nick defending quite well with the legs, and I believe he's trying to go from here. I thought he was going maybe for a leg lock from here, but I may be wrong. So right now, folks, this is a game of inches. If there's one tiny mistake that's made, it will change the position for the rest of the round.
And don't be fooled by what looks like not a lot of action. This is grueling stuff that we're watching.
Yes, when two men are squished on top of each other, it's hard business. Oh, indeed, I'm very happy to be behind the camera, calling the fight rather than in this terrible position.
Yeah, because this is relatively the same, with 10 seconds left to go in the second round, this is relatively the same position that Matthew maintained throughout most of this round, which is probably gassing Nick out.
Well, there's going to be one more round, 3 minutes left to make, a comeback, if I may say.
Yeah.
It was another very good round, though, for Matthew. I got to give him that. He had good control. He didn't get the opportunity for as much ground and pound, but that's also because of reasonably good defense coming out of Nick. Was able to trap the arm, I believe both arms at some points as well.
Yep.
So it limited the damage. I hope he's still fresh because we got 3 more minutes of action, if needed, in this fight.
Yeah, but in this particular case, Nick is going to need some kind of finish. He needs to have a very, very decisive third round in order to take this one, because right now it's kind of tilting in Matthew's favor.
It's hard, though, because Matthew comes in pretty aggressive. He wants to take center, wants to pressure his opponent right away. So we'll see if he can change, or, turn the tide, as we say.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Third round is set to begin in just a moment. Franco's just giving his final instructions, as he always does. Third round begins. They touch gloves, of course. You know how I'm a huge fan of that sportsmanship. Can't get enough of it.
Oh, he went high and it went over the glove. I mean, hit Nick really, really hard, but Nick took it well, though. I got to give him. Took that big hit, and Matthew tried with a Superman punch as well. Oh, big 1-2.
Yep. Matthew just put his hands out like, come on.
Really? Sort of discounted it. He was like, no, that was nothing. Don't worry about it. Matthew fighting tall, too. I got to give him that. I like that about him. Tall frame.
Yeah, it's imposing.
And he's using it well. And Matthew changing stance also, going from orthodox to southpaw on a few occasions. I believe when he goes southpaw, he's going to look for the look for the head kick. That was a big groin shot.
Now that right there is what makes me realize I'm grateful to be sitting behind the camera and the mic.
You are so correct, my friend. So correct. But he's going to get the time needed to regain himself.
Yeah, there's no rushing this.
Actually, obviously unintentional. But for Nick, this is good, though. He gets those few extra moments to gather his thoughts, catch his breath as well,
which he needs.
Maybe re-strategize as we continue into the final round.
Yep. No, wholeheartedly agree. And that's, the main one, I think, out of all that is catching his breath, because don't forget, he was getting smushed, so to speak, for a good round and a half.
But I'm very impressed, though, with his composure for Nick, because this is his MMA debut.
Yeah.
And despite that, he's had a couple of hard rounds, I'm very impressed with his composure overall. And skill-wise also, he's got some nice skills overall as well.
Yeah, and I think composure is the absolute perfect way of describing what he's demonstrating, because, like you could see, he was slightly frustrated when Franco had to move them on more than one occasion.
And he's got some nice footwork also, Nick, because he's circling away from the power of Matthew. So very smart. Oh, and we got right back to the ground. I mean, this is what we saw early in the first round, a little bit in the second, and he slides easily into full mount. Full mount, towards midway of the third and final round. Let's see if Matthew's going to want to posture up and rain down some shots as well. Oh, he's going to be careful, though. Nick almost reversed him. He tried to buck hard.
Just about a minute left to go. Franco's going to get them to just stand up. Very decent call with a minute left to go in this third and final round.
Nice work from Matthew. I like. You can see how when he loads up the hip, he's going for a nice spinning attack. It's hit his opponent a few times. Oh wow! He's trying to trip him, and he does. That's judo right there, folks.
Oh, what strength to take down a bigger opponent like that.
A la George St. Pierre. I saw George St. Pierre do that so many times in the octagon. Now we get to see it here in the ring.
Well, it's deja vu all over again with just about 20 seconds left to go in this third and final round. Matthew finds himself on top once again.
The fight's going to come to a conclusion in just a few seconds, folks. And what we're going to see is Matthew on top.
And that does it. Well, one of the fights of today had to go the distance, right?
But this is fantastic for both fighters. Win or lose, going the full 3 rounds is time in the ring or in the cage. That's invaluable experience 100%. When you are competing here in MMA or any other facet of the fight game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that was an interesting fight for sure. I mean, Matthew, I think, takes this one personally. That's my personal opinion. I never like to play judge or anything like that, but he did have the upper hand for most of the fight. But hey, shout out to Nick. His effort is nothing to sneeze at. He really hung in there. You could see, as you mentioned, his defense was really strong. He was trying to hook the legs, trying to hook the arms. He was grabbing his neck. He was doing absolutely everything he could in his power to make sure that, that Matthew couldn't do any significant damage to him. And if we take a look at our man, he looks okay.
And let's also say that he can take a hell of a shot.
Yes, good call.
Mais pour ça qu'on va s'activer un vainqueur, notre vainqueur nous vient du coin bleu, Monsieur Filart.
And our official winner by unanimous decision, Matthew Filart, improving to 201 in the MMA ranks.
Yeah, that is not the last that you've seen of that young man. I promise you that much, folks.